Hi, I'm Robert, and today I'm going to show you how I take this image from here to here, all in Lightroom. I went off-roading with a friend to Santiago Peak in Orange County, California. This is the entrance to the trail. In this episode, I'm going to show you how I use the brush tool to adjust multiple different areas of this image. Let's get started at the bottom like we always do. We're at the current version. We skip vignetting as always. Click on Constrain Crop and Auto. As usual, we'll click these two boxes to remove chromatic aberrations, enable profile corrections. Let's add our normal sharpening routine, 100, and applying a mask. Hold down Alt so you can see your mask. And let's sharpen everywhere that isn't the sky. That looks good. And we'll go up. We'll come back to the colors later. This picture's a little bit warm, so let's bring it down just a tiny bit. Let's bring the exposure up just a little bit too. Next, we'll adjust the highlights. Just bring them down a little bit. And same with the shadows. Bring them up slightly. We don't need to adjust the white point on this one, so we'll just bring the black point down slightly. This is going to be our base image. We have a lot of work to do after this though. Next, let's adjust the red on the truck. Go down to your color tab, click on luminance. Let's adjust the red on the truck. Let's make it darker by going on luminance and going to -10. We'll go to saturation, we'll bring it up quite a bit here. Here's a before and after. Before and after. Now the red looks much more saturated and deep, like it does in person. Let's also adjust the blues slightly. I'm only going to adjust the saturation on the blues. We'll go up to bring out some nice color in the sky. Let's further adjust the sky using the gradient tool. Bring it down, press shift to level it out. Just like that, we can see the area that we're affecting by pressing O for overlay. We can click on the brush here, hold down Alt, and let's remove this area on these hills because we don't want to adjust that. We're just trying to adjust the sky here. Alright, that'll do. Press O to turn off our overlay. Let's bring the temperature down a little bit to make it more blue, and also bring the exposure down slightly to darken the sky. So now the sky looks much better. Let's close our gradient tool. Next, let's begin our brush work. We're going to start with the hill on the left side. Let's paint it in. Press O for our overlays so we can see what we're working on. So now we have this hill selected. Press O to turn off the overlay. Let's brighten this hill up a little bit using exposure. And let's add a little bit of texture to bring it out too. So now it's a little brighter and there's more detail in the hill. Let's click New, and let's work on this hill now. Let's roughly brush it in. That's good. And let's do the same thing. Let's bring up the exposure a little bit and add some texture. Looks much better. Let's click on New. And now let's modify this dirt road. So we're going to paint all of the dirt road and then make some adjustments. We spilled over a little on the bumper, but we can remove that just by holding down Alt and brushing over. Let's turn off our overlay. Let's darken the road. We need to bring it down quite a bit. That looks a little better. Let's warm it up also. I like how that looks. It was too bright before. Now let's clean up these tires. Let's zoom in. and start painting the tires. I want to make them look black again. They're brown from all the dirt we've been driving on. So choose a new brush. And let's start painting. Turn on the overlay. Now let's remove some of the parts that spilled over. I only want to paint the faces of the tires. We'll leave the treads alone. We'll do the same thing for the front tire. Now we'll delete the areas that we spilled over. And also remove the masking from the tread. Alright, that looks good. Let me just erase the rim too. Alright, we have our mask set up now. So press O, remove it. Let's try and make these tires look darker. So let's bring the blacks down. We'll start with that. And to get them even darker, let's bring down the exposure. There's still a little bit of brown on them, so we'll also bring the saturation down. We can see it looks a little weird here, so we'll just use Alt and brush it away. So let's brush in some of these areas. Let's zoom out and see how it looks. Looking nice. Let's zoom back in. Let's bring the exposure up just a little bit. I think we're a little dark here. Same with the blacks. Bring them up a little bit. That looks better, a little more natural. Now we have a mix of the black tire with the dirt, but it looks a little more natural. Let's click on a new brush and let's see if we can clean up these faded over fenders. Let's paint them in like we did before. Use Alt to delete. Let's paint in this front one too. That was easy enough. Turn off the mask. Let's bring the exposure down. Bring the blacks down a little bit. And we'll bring the saturation down. Now they're looking better. Let's toggle our switch on and off. So this is before all of our brush work and after. Let's zoom back out and see how it looks. I feel like this image needs a little bit of a crop. Usually I don't crop my images, but let's try it out for this one. right there looks pretty good. I felt like in the other composition, the truck was just too far away and too small. Now it fills up much